And I think I'm live. Think I'm live. I guess I have to give a few minutes for some people to show up. Hi, James. So I guess I am live. I thought I was private for a second. I was trying to mess with the settings. I wanted to go live quickly. Pierre, how you doing? I'm just going to give a couple minutes for people to come in, and I just want to say some things. Two guys, Natty. You're in NYC right now. How you doing? Paul? I'm doing great, Pierre. I'm doing great. Doing great. A little bit tired, but I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Can't complain. I hope everyone's been having a good week. Marcus, how you doing, Marcus? You're getting the beginning of this live stream. English chit chat, Paul. Paul from San Diego, how you doing? I'm glad to hear you're doing well, Marcus. I'm going to give a few more minutes for people to come in. I just did this very impromptu, so we'll see how it goes. I just have a couple of updates to let everyone know the status of SCAR, what we're doing, how we're trying to traverse the minefield that is the testnet. Hidden treasures. I look healthy. I've been eating a lot of food. I went on a cruise for winter break, and I ate a lot on the cruise. So, English chit chat, checking in from Korea. How you doing? Someone from Korea. That is awesome. It's around, I'm on the Eastern Standard Time. So it's 7:40 Eastern Standard Time. Marcus bulking? No, not yet. I'm going to need your help. I'm not bulking. Pierre, what's the deal with some pools getting banned for cheating, like Cool and Cool 2? I'm going to talk about that. Hidden Treasures, definitely bulking season. I need to put on some masks, but I need a coach to do that. I needed a coach to do that. That's my weakness. Marcus says we'll get you on the juice. That's what I need. Joey from Kentucky, how you doing? Okay, there's like 20 people in the chat, so I guess let's start talking about what I wanted to talk about, and then we can just converse about whatever. So I just want to let everyone know that there have been some issues with the testnet. I'm not going to sit here and make a long video complaining and saying all the things that I want fixed. I'm just going to address some of the issues and how SCAR has fixed those issues, or what SCAR is doing in order to properly put ourselves in a place that provides the best quality service to you. Brian, how you doing? So I'm not sure if you guys have heard, but guys and girls have heard, but there's an issue with twin leaders in the Cardano testnet, and it's been happening for a pretty long period of time. I noticed that the thumbnail that I put were like two pools because SCAR is working on their second pool, but in reality, the thumbnail that I should have used was this thumbnail from pooltool.io, and you can go and see whether or not there are forks happening within Cardano. So basically, what is a fork? So blocks are being created over a given period of time, and there are so many blocks within each epoch. And basically, there's a chain that all the pools follow. So all the staking pools, whether that be SCAR, whether that be Digi, whether that be the IOHK main staking pool, all of them are following this protocol or this chain that is the Cardano blockchain. So twin leaders is basically when pools run multiple different instances for one node. This when Jormungandr first started, when the testnet was first released, IOHK released like a memo. I can probably attach it somewhere, but they did not want people to use twin leaders, using 2 instances for one pool. So think about if you've ever been to an arcade or an arcade, just a regular arcade, and you see those games where the lights spin around and you have to hit that button when the light hits that certain switch, and then you win a prize. So what Scar's been doing is we won one pool with one instance, so we have that chance to create that block, mint that block, and continue the blockchain. But twin instances, people are running multiple different instances for that one pool. So they have multiple chances of hitting that block, and they'll win that block regardless. So when you go on pooltool.io and you see these other pools with extremely high percentages of blocks that they're actually minting, there's a chance that they are using that twin leader status, or they may be using 3 instances or 4 instances. So they're artificially boosting their stats based on the parameters of the protocol. This is, of course, maybe it's a bug, maybe it's just something that wasn't coded correctly. They're free to do this. I'm not here to debate the morality or the legality of what they're doing. I'm just here to tell you that Scar has never done multiple instances for a pool. Hence why our performance is maybe not as high as it should be. Once again, this is not our pool's issue. This is more of a protocol issue because our server has been on 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We haven't missed a single second of downtime. It's just sometimes the blocks skip. And what you're doing is you often get forked. So when twin leaders are using multiple instances to one pools, they start forking the network. In that epoch that I took a snapshot of, there was over 100 forks. So we are in a perpetual loop of forks. And it's also geographically based. So if your pool is closer, your pools are connecting to other pools. So nodes are connecting to other nodes, other trusted nodes. So if our node is connected to a peer that is close to us, that is running this twin leader, that are running twin leaders, there's a higher chance that we get forked. So based on where your node is located on Earth, you may have a higher or lower chance of actually falling within these forks. So how we've mitigated this is we also opened up a second location, but this is a cloud service, and we are renting a cloud service provider, DigitalOcean, and it is in California near the IOHK nodes. So that is running Scar at the moment. And we're doing that temporarily to make sure that our block percentage stays above a certain percentage. While our bare metal server is still running, everything's going to merge back once Jormungandr gets fixed. But until then, we need to have some sort of block production to even stay viable. So that's what we're doing right now. We also have we're going to open up our second pool. We funded our second pool. So all we're waiting for is for IOHK to merge that. And once it gets merged, you should be able to see Scar 2. So if you feel like Scar is saturated, or if it says it's saturated, you can go ahead and delegate to Scar 2. So that's our second pool. So we're going to try to run, because we've received a lot of comments from people saying that, when are we opening up a second pool? When are you doing this? When are you doing that? Why haven't you jumped the gun? Well, we've been trying to fine tune and prioritize our pool 1. We think we have a temporary solution until Jormungandr gets fixed. So we're going to run with that. We're ready to open up our second pool. We had a lot of trouble logging into the incentivized testnet. I'm sure that a lot of you have had some trouble with logging into Daedalus or accessing your Yoroi rewards. So we've had the same issue. And in order to fund the second pool, you need 505 testnet ADA. So that testnet ADA is sitting in an incentivized wallet somewhere, and we could not access it because we could not access the incentivized testnet. So we are running a script right now that use funds from our first pool in order to fund the second pool, if that makes any sense. But we just figured that out. But we're on top of things. We are just looking to see exactly how we can fine tune the parameters of our pool to be as competitive as possible. So we can't promise you that we'll have 100% block minting rate, not because our server is down, just because we may fall into forks. It forks. That's just what happens. And we're not going to be running twin leader status or triple leader status or quadruple leader status. We're not running multiple instances of the same node. IOHK said not to do that. So we're going to abide by the rules. There is a blacklist that you can see. And I believe one of the sites are starting to blacklist pools that are running that twin leader status. Once again, it's completely quote unquote legal because you can do it within the protocol. But I guess it just wasn't, you weren't supposed to be able to do it. I'm not here to, once again, I'm not here to judge the morality of the people that are actually running twin leader status to boost their stats or try to get the maximum number of blocks. That's on you. That is really on you. So we're just not doing it that way. We're doing it, we're following the rules to a T, and we're making sure that we are abiding by all the procedures set by IOHK. So, we still have minted a lot of blocks total. I mean, last time I checked, I think it was like right around 700 lifetime blocks. I mean, of course, we can get even higher because we don't have 100% block minting rate. But for all those new people, it's not because our pool is down. It's just because we for some reason, the luck of the draw, we got our server constantly gets like looped into multiple forks. We're like in an infinite loop of forks. And if you do not believe what's going on, you can go to pooltool.io and you see the forks that happen. That's the twin leaders that are creating those forks. And, our pool may be closer geographically to those pools. So we fall into that fork inception. That's what it's called. So, yeah, but there are plenty of other pools that you can delegate to. And if you probably delegate to the twin leader status pools, you probably will get higher rewards, just letting you know. So, but the choice is yours. I'm going to get to the comments real quick. I'm going to see what's going on. Joey says, doing great. Awesome. Oh, okay. You're doing great personally. Awesome. Brad Anderson says the SCAR rewards have gotten better recently. Awesome. I noticed our delegation has dropped. So maybe that's why those rewards have gone up. But we also have been minting more blocks. So just give us time. We're going to be opening up SCAR 2 soon. We're just waiting for IOHK to merge our request, and then SCAR 2 will be up. Emma, how are you doing? Mike Physique says, when can we participate in the next staking for those who missed off the cutoff date for November 19th? So you won't be able to start staking until mainnet. But I've heard that also Charles may think about doing another snapshot. So I'm not sure if that snapshot will ever take place. But if there's another snapshot before the testnet is over, that's going to be the date where you can enter. I've recently heard from Emergo that people that were holding their ADA on the ledger Nano S can now stake. So you can extract the funds from your ledger Nano S if it was available on November 29th and start staking. As you can see on pooltool.io, a week ago, it was like 9.7 billion ADA that was staked. And now it has increased. So let's wait and see how much that ledger status will boost up the actual ADA that's being delegated. Brian says, RB Evans, how are you doing? Brian says, what is the K value now? Did it change? I believe the K value is 100. Yeah, I don't think it changed. Mark says, staking sucks, saturation, waiting 2 epochs for rewards. I don't get this. Yeah, staking's a little bit difficult as far as being able to access your wallet. A lot of people are having issues with that, but there are some people that have jumped the gun and they're delegating to really good pools that are providing high rewards for them, which they're happy about. Of course, it could be cleaner, but Jormungandr has some issues right now. It's not the cleanest thing in the world, and this is why we're in the testnet. This is why things will probably improve over time. Waiting to 2 epochs is difficult. I understand that. Saturation point. I wanted to talk about saturation point and maybe get your ideas of what you think. You tell me if I'm wrong, but now that I see saturation point implemented, I don't necessarily think it's a good thing. I know people in this chat are probably going to say, well, your pool is oversaturated. So it's in your benefit. It's in your best interest to have a no saturation point. But if you really think about the economics behind it, what's happening is that there are a lot of pools out there. And of course, anyone can do a pool. The barrier to entry is getting very, very low, which is wonderful, wonderful. But at the end of the day, majority of the ADA that's in pools is run by a few people. Like, it's not necessarily that the network is getting more decentralized. It's the same owners that are creating multiple pools. Instead of having the onus on just fixing that first pool and making it as good and clean as possible, people are opening up multiple iterations of pools, as we are, because we have to stay competitive. So SCAR 2 will be opening. And while my views of this were different maybe a month ago, now when I see it, it's like the complications that we've had with being a stake pool operator in the test net. I much rather focus on just one pool and then try to make that as big and clean and functional as possible. But we have to open up a second pool because of that saturation point. So is it really more decentralized if IOHK has 10 pools, I have 10 pools, this person has 10 pools, this person has 10 pools, or is it more or less the same thing? Once again, you vote with your ADA to make the protocol more or less decentralized. And moving forward, I think that the saturation point has to go, to tell you the truth. But I'd love to hear what you guys think. Let's see. Bruce City 44 says, have no idea what twin leader status is. It's nice sounding label though. So twin leader status is basically, just for those new people that are coming in, it's pools that are running multiple instances for a single node. So they have basically multiple different servers or locations that are running for one node, which you're not supposed to do. And that ultimately forks the network. So they're getting close to 100% minting their blocks that they're assigned, but because they're running multiple instances, so you can't lose. You really can't lose. So RB Evans says, I believe it is in May. Okay. WC, how are you doing? Elite Trans, appreciate the support. I appreciate the support. RB Evans says, I have no idea of most of what he says. Let me know if I need to explain something. Richard says mainnet only. Okay, for the saturation point. Okay. B Thomas says, is it too late to join your pool? Absolutely not. I would wait until SCAR 2 releases. So SCAR 2, we funded the pool. We're just waiting for IOHK to merge it. So it shouldn't be too much longer. And then we'll have SCAR 1 and SCAR 2. So those people that want to get involved with SCAR but have not yet, I would recommend you wait until SCAR 2 because SCAR 1 is oversaturated. Let me see. Jason said, what are your thoughts on IOHK earning substantially more rewards and inflating their own purse, so to speak? Seems like a way to inflate their own bag. Oh, I'm all for it. I'm all for IOHK getting as rich as possible right now because I think that they need the revenue streams in order to properly fund the project for the years on end. I actually think that they're doing themselves a disservice by actually implementing a saturation point because the way their wallets are partitioned, they're oversaturated on every single one of their pools. So they're actually receiving less rewards than they should based on the saturation point, which I don't know, hovers between 70 and 100 million on any given day. So I think that they're doing themselves a disservice because if you look at some of their pools, they have 150 million ADA here, 300 million ADA here, which means disproportionately that they're actually losing the potential rewards that they could be getting. I think that people looking at IOHK trying to inflate their bags, it's the way you have to look at it is IOHK. I think that they should create some sort of, I think their Cardano wallet should be funding them for the years to go. And this is going to keep them incentivized to continue contributing into the ecosystem, even after their contract runs out or even after they hit a majority of their milestones. If they have these big bags where they can really support the community or support new projects or support new features, whether that be privacy features or new features that can be added to ADA to make it even a more interactive experience, that's what we need. That's what we need. When we need a big partnership with a credit card or a bank or this or that, it's not going to be you and me that are going to facilitate that partnership because our bags are just not heavy enough. Or maybe yours are, but our bags may not be heavy enough. We need IOHK. We need their resume. We need their background of work. We need them to represent the project for at least the next couple of years, or I mean, maybe 1 or 2 years at least before they just give the community the go. But we still need them. RB Evans says, what does that mean to be oversaturated? So oversaturated, there is a mark. So there's a value called K. K value is equal to 100 pools. So ideally, IOHK wants 100 pools to be operating within the ecosystem right now. So given the number of ADA that's actually being staked right now determines the saturation point. So let's give a quick example. Let's say SCAR, I don't know, the saturation point is 100 ADA. And SCAR has 100 ADA. So they are just reached that saturation point, and it's 100 people that are delegating to the pool. So everyone has 1 ADA. So everyone gets a maximum number of rewards, and that rewards number is fixed for a given epoch. So let's say it's 10 ADA. So every epoch you get, the whole distribution is 10 ADA. So that 10 ADA gets split amongst the 100 people. Now, let's say tomorrow, 10 more people that have 1 ADA join in. So you have 110 ADA right now in SCAR. And now it's oversaturated because, first of all, the saturation point is 100, but the rewards are still going to be fixed at 10. So that 10 ADA now is going to be distributed amongst 110 people as opposed to 100 people. So the same rewards, the same max rewards the pool is getting, but it gets capped after a certain degree. So that reward pot gets distributed or split amongst more people, if that makes any sense, causing everyone's rewards to kind of go down. Not because the pool is not as successful, but just because they are oversaturated. Mark says saturation is a bad thing the way it's implemented now. Saturation should grow with the amount of ADA that is being staked. I believe it does. I believe it does. WC says forking sounds messy. It really is messy. Really is messy. I saw on these, let me see if I can pull up that screenshot, or maybe I don't have it anymore. Let me see. But there were like 100, there were 100 forks within that given epoch. I mean, it was wild. It was wild. I mean, it was just forking to oblivion, and we somehow fall into a infinite loop of forks. And the twin leaders are the ones that are forking the network. And it's nothing against them. I mean, they do what they can. They do what they feel is right within the protocol, but it sometimes hits other people, and that makes it a little bit difficult. So RB Evans says, since this is a test net snapshot, is there any actual real ADA rewards to be doled out? Yes, there is. So let me explain the distribution of how ADA works. So you have your mainnet ADA sitting in your Daedalus wallet or Yoroi. November 29th was the snapshot date. You were given the equivalent number of testnet ADA to match your balance within your Yoroi wallet or your Daedalus wallet. So say you had 1,000 mainnet ADA in your Daedalus wallet. All of a sudden, you have 1,000 testnet ADA in your incentivized rewards wallet or your incentivized wallet. You're going to be creating a rewards wallet for that testnet ADA. So that's where all your rewards are going to be. You're staking your 1,000 ADA and you're getting your rewards back. So rewards ADA. So that after the end of the testnet, all your rewards ADA that collected in that wallet gets transferred back to your mainnet wallet. So if you had 1,000 testnet ADA, and let's say you got, I don't know, 70 for 7%, 70 rewards ADA throughout the duration of the testnet, that 70 ADA all of a sudden gets added to your mainnet balance. So you'd have 1,070 ADA after the completion of the testnet, if that makes sense. Anthony King says, when does the testnet end? Not 100% sure. I would guess probably between 3 to 6 months. James says, what's the difference between no saturation and you running 5 pools? Still up centralized with you. Yeah, no, that's what I was saying. I mean, I was arguing against the saturation point. I wasn't arguing for the saturation point. I mean, me running another pool is not necessarily making the network more decentralized. But at the end of the day, people were requesting for me to run another pool, for us to run another pool, and we're going to do it. We're oversaturated. We want to make sure we provide quality service to everyone. XRP Superman Punch says, hi, how are you doing? ADA is my second favorite coin, but it's not easy to understand the technology. You and Charles are very technical to follow. I hope I'm not too technical. I'm trying to break it down into the easiest way possible. Ask me as many questions as possible. I've been involved with this project for a while. Obviously, I'm not, I don't code or anything like that, but I kind of understand what's going on. Dash Garage says, have stuck with Scar and will continue to stick with Scar. I appreciate that. Appreciate the support. We really do. We really appreciate the support. B. Thomas says, thanks for answering my question. And I'll wait. Okay, awesome. Uncle Chop says, changing pools all the time to maximize returns is a pain in the bum. A lot of the people don't have time for this. Yes, that's correct. That's correct. So, first of all, let me let you know that all my ADA is staked with Scar. So even though there are pools that have higher percentage returns at this moment, because it's very convoluted of what's going on. Some people are using twin leader status, boosting their stats, which is fine. It's on them. And at the end of the day, they're getting higher returns. But the most important thing I think during this testnet is to find someone or a pool that you're comfortable with, that's reliable, that's going to be here for the long term. Are you going to be here for the mainnet? Are you going to be here beyond the mainnet? Scar, although we've had troubles during the testnet, we'll be here for mainnet. I can guarantee that. So, and there were other pools that are going to be here for the duration of the testnet and the mainnet as well. So when the bugs get fixed, when things get patched, when things improve, all the experience that we've garnered over the duration of the testnet will be able to transition successfully to the mainnet and hopefully provide even a cleaner experience for you. Because I really want to focus on other things, to tell you the truth. The testnet has taken up a lot of our times. All 4 of us, we've been working tirelessly to make sure that it's as clean as possible and we don't get forked into oblivion. But it takes a dramatic amounts of time, and it hasn't been the funnest thing in the world. And I want to allocate my time elsewhere to help grow certain projects and make sure things are running smoothly. So we just basically haven't hit that autopilot switch yet. So if I'm not rambling too much. Richard Baki says, where's the info on running our own pools? You can go to the Cardano Stake Pool Best Practices group. There are plenty of tutorials, also online guides that you can start spinning up your own pool. C said, keep at it. I've noticed rewards getting better. Awesome. Glad to hear that. Brian says, I don't have a problem with the saturation point model. Okay, that's fine. Owen Prescott says, at least this is happening now and not a few years down the line. Yes, for sure. And I'm glad this is happening during the testnet and not the mainnet. RB Evans says an epoch is 1 day. That's correct. In the mainnet, it's probably going to be around 5 days. Hidden Treasure says, every time I fork, I get saturated too. Yeah, so, we're in an infinite loop of forks. So we feel your pain. Brian says, but I do feel like the limit of returns once that saturation should only affect the people who join after the saturation point is reached. Like hitting a max and a cap, and other delegators are affected more than the original delegators. That would be nice. That would be nice. But my argument is we just eliminate the saturation point completely. But I don't know. I think Charles hinted that, when governance comes out, we'll be more vocal in the community as to what the saturation point is and how we're going to implement it. Whatever the case is, we're going to roll with the punches, whether it's here, it's not here. We're just going to adjust our models to make sure that we're providing quality service. RB Evans says, why is there a limit to how many people that can be in a pool? There's no limit. I mean, you can delegate to another pool. Your rewards may go down after you are oversaturated, but the premise was to try to get it as decentralized as possible, so all the ADA is not stored into one or two wallets. But does that really work? I mean, the largest whales are the largest whales for a reason. IOHK is IOHK for a reason. The Cardano Foundation is the Cardano Foundation for a reason. Emergo is Emergo for a reason. So whether they split it up into 5 pools or they have it all in one pool, it really doesn't make that much of a difference. Brian says, otherwise we turn into an EOS. Not necessarily, because EOS is, I don't know, is it 21 or 22 pools, and then the rest are not, they aren't able to stake? That would never happen within Cardano. So even if the saturation point was removed, it's not like after a certain cap, the other pools can't operate. You could operate whether you want. I mean, there could be 100 successful pools, or there can be 10 successful pools. But at the end of the day, that would really incentivize businesses to ramp up what they offer, the services that they offer to people that are staking within their pool. Right now, there's not really an incentivization to do that. It's only, people are only incentivized to run and spin up as many pools as they can. What percent do we get when it's oversaturated? Well, it depends how oversaturated it is. So the oversaturation point is 1% of the total staked ADA. So, you know, if it's if the pool is at 2%, you'd get half the amount of rewards that you could have gotten if you were delegating to a fully saturated pool. Lanzate says, not able to sync SCAR node today. Any ideas? No, I don't have any ideas. I can't log into Datalist myself or the incentivized test. No, I mean, the incentivized testnet rewards wallet, I can't log in. So I haven't been able to log in. People have been giving me fixes, but they're not working for me. Emma Gator says, does that fresh shirt represent SCAR's minted block sale? No, it's just a random shirt. Well, we've minted over 700. I'm going to check right now, just so I'm not misspeaking whatsoever. Let me see. Let's see. SCAR. We've minted 725 blocks, and it seems we're on a different height right now. So it means that we're probably getting forked right now. Robert Yang says, what happens when a pool is obsolete? Can you redelegate your ADA? Yes, you can redelegate your ADA at any time. Doesn't matter. So you can pull it out in the middle of an epoch, at the beginning, at the end, doesn't matter. Yes, I'm probably out of sync with this chat as well. So Richard said, sticking with a saturated pool aids that pool, perhaps. Vishka says, Vishka says, currently, if you're minting more than 34 blocks, you are not getting any more additional incentives. See, that's an issue. Mark says, I'm all in SCAR just for all your efforts you are making for supporting Cardano and sharing your knowledge about it. Well, thank you, Mark. I appreciate that. I really do appreciate that. Bruce City 44 says, I'm with Uncle Chop Chop. I'll just roll with SCAR and Digi. If I'm going to get it rich, it will be from staking. That's correct. And people are really caught up right now with the incentivized testnet rewards. But I always tell people that the appreciation of the native asset is more important than the actual rewards. What I've seen from the testnet is that around 30% of the total ADA, circulating ADA, has been delegated. That's a little bit lower than I initially expected, because I said 20 to 30%, but I was only assuming 20 to 30% for community-based ADA. I wasn't including IOHK, Emergo, or the foundation. So what you want to do is for a quick thought experiment, what is ADA right now? 3-4 cents. I haven't been keeping up with the price. If 80 to 90% of ADA is actually being delegated, there's a high chance that ADA is going to 3, 4, 5, 6x. The rewards will be smaller, of course, because more people will be staking, but the actual native asset is going to increase. So thinking about hoarding your ADA right now, and you're like, oh, I'm getting my 20% rewards, I'm getting my 15% rewards. This is great. No, it's basically sending the message that the ecosystem needs to be more used, because that's what's going to drive the price up. So if you have 4 cent ADA and it multiplies by 3 or 4x, that's going to be greater than getting your 7% returns and the actual native asset stays stagnant, if that makes any sense. Mr. Plummer says Digi is killing it on both pools. Scars has been saturated since day one. Yes, Digi's killing it. Great pool. XRP Superman Punch, thank you for your kind answer. I'm a long-time subscriber. This is the first time I write. Keep up the good work. I appreciate you. 608, 633, 6216. I'm not 100% sure what these numbers represent. Oh, call you? Okay. Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to say those numbers. Reach out to me on Telegram if you need to speak to me. Mark says, I don't mind the rewards. It's about making blockchain history here. One can say that it's all about the testnet, but the way IOHK is doing this is truly unique. That's why Cardano is going to be a game changer. Well said. L. Johnson says, need a signal that says 90% full, 10% saturation. That would be nice. Mr. Plummer says, I think saturation should be 50 million, and that would make more pools available. Perhaps. Marcus says he's wearing minted blocks. Yeah, I guess so. I guess these are minted blocks now. RB Evans says, I just logged into the testnet, incentivized testnet half an hour ago. I could not get in earlier. Okay, beautiful, beautiful. I'm going to have to keep trying on my end. I haven't been successful. XRP Superman Punch says, is Cardano and ADA a real game changer? Legit question. Only time will tell. Only time will tell. What I'm focused on right now is making sure that IOHK, Emergo, and the Cardano Foundation release what they're supposed to release, which is Shelley mainnet. We also have smart contracts, and we need governance. Once those three things are released, we can sit and have an honest discussion of what we see Cardano doing. If it's a viable project, if it's something that's going to create just massive amounts of wealth for all the early investors, or if it's something that's not 100% there yet. It's always, time will tell. There's a chance that it goes either way. There really is. So we have to wait and see. That sure is crazy. Speaking about, I shot a video the other day, and it was about the twin leader status. And when I reviewed the video, I took it down. I didn't post it because it sounded like I was very angry or defensive. And the reason why I made that video is because, I didn't release that video because it probably would have appeared defensive. I saw a comment. I mean, the comments are, I take a lot of the comments in stride. I really appreciate all the comments. But there are some comments that are said about you that may not necessarily be true. It was something to the extent that, I was making excuses for the pool for Scar. And I just want to let everyone know that I am not, if you know me personally, I am not the person that makes excuses for pool performance or anything in life. I take my losses, I take my L's, I take it on the chin, and I just keep on moving forward. And the issue we had was with Jormungandr forking. It's not necessarily if it was with us and our server was down, I would tell you our server was down, this and that. But the logs say otherwise. Our server was up. It's just we get looped into infinite forks, and that's just the end of the game. So we have to make sure on our end that we are properly mitigating for these situations. So whether it's having another, like moving the pool completely, we're not going to do that twin leader status, but we will move the pool completely to be closer to those IOHK nodes or the trusted nodes and see if that helps our performance. Julian says, I think saturation does make the system more decentralized. The same people can run multiple nodes, but they may be in different locations, which minimizes risks. Yeah, yes and no. Yes and no. But most of the people that are running multiple nodes are running it with one solution. You take out that one person, you take out all their nodes. So I don't necessarily agree with that, but I understand your statement, and I think it's a valid statement. RB Evans says, what does rank mean in SCAR? So once again, I'm not even able to log into the incentivized testnet, so I can't even tell you how our ranking fluctuates. I'm sure sometimes it's red all the way to the bottom when we get forked, and sometimes it's green when we're actually minting blocks. So you have a certain number of assigned blocks for any given epoch, which is a 24-hour block of time. And it's up to you for your pool to actually mint those blocks if you are on the correct chain. So if you're on the correct chain, you'll have the opportunity to mint those blocks. And the more blocks you mint compared to the amount of blocks that were delegated to you during a certain epoch, increases your performance rate, allows your pool to appear green. If you're missing blocks, then you're going to go down to yellow and then red. WC says, sticking with SCAR and Digi, not pool hopping. Yes, Rick is doing a great job as well. He's running 2 pools, Digi and Digi 2. I highly recommend those pools. Owen Prescott says, I think a lot of people will delegate during mainnet. Lots of people out during the bear market. Yeah, perhaps. Engineer Prepper says, my rewards are diminishing even when participating ADA is reducing with Digi. Okay, understand. Silvano says, can the chat call me? I will answer all the calls. I don't know. Brian says, did IOHK share any stats on how much ADA was moved prior to the testnet? Do we know how much ADA is still active versus lost in wallets that will be locked that will forever be locked? That's a very difficult metric to test, especially ADA that's just lost. I mean, UTXO based accounting is very difficult to even find the actual person attributed to a particular address. Once you start sending your ADA, it starts to become very difficult to trace it from one person to another. The paper trail becomes very difficult. So I don't know. Mr. Mont says, do you think we'll get to $1 and beyond sooner than 2023, or do you think it will take till the end of the decade to get traction? Well, I'm here long term, but if it takes us to the end of the decade, that's too long. That's too long. At this point, there are so many intangibles. I just want the project to release what it's supposed to release, and then we can figure out exactly what that price means in the near and short term. But if there's another bull market, I'm sure Cardano will benefit greatly from the bull market, because at the end of the day, there are not a lot of projects that are doing something, and Cardano is trying to do something innovative. So the bull market will be friendly to Cardano as well. I don't know if this is going to be sustained over a long period of time, or it's going to be similar to 2017, where we just fly to the moon and then fly back down. Silvano says, okay, Silvano, you're going to have to, I don't know if that's your real phone number, but, I'm not going to encourage anyone to call Silvano. I know you want to call someone because you're lonely, but I don't know if YouTube chat is the greatest place. But if you need to reach me for a question, you can reach me on Telegram or Twitter or anything like it. Mr. Mont says, keep up the awesome work with the stake pool. Also can't wait for the mainnet. Yes. Mark says, but Philip, when I listen to you, I think that there is not much of IOHK support for stake pools. Is my observation correct? It's difficult to tell. I know that people are out on holidays and the teams are out and people are doing their own things. And at the end of the day, the community, the entities that are building the project are kind of different from the stake pool operators. We don't work for IOHK and IOHK doesn't work for us. So that might mean that it takes longer for questions to get answered. Certain issues that haven't been addressed is that twin leader pools, but I'm sure that people are jumping on top of it. These are probably not easy fixes, and it's not like something you can just fix one line of code. You want to make sure that you're fixing the correct line of code and it's not messing up the entire protocol. So I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt, but at the end of the day, there are still some issues that pool operators are dealing with. RB Evans says, rank is in the red at 139 right now. Is rank for SCAR pool as a whole, or is it my rank within SCAR? So that would be for SCAR pool. So if it's in the red right now, that means we are probably forked. So we may need to do a reset at some point. But as you can see, we're following the incorrect. If you look at the height of our blocks, it indicates that we are not on the same chain. So if there's chains like this, all of a sudden one forked off like this, and now they're running in parallel. So we're on one chain, and the other chain is the correct chain. So we have to hop back onto this chain. And that chain was forked because of the twin leaders running multiple instances and creating these forks. So crypto investor says, do you think ADA will hit 10 cents with Shelly? I don't know. Perhaps there's a possibility. Not in these markets, but maybe in the future. Brian says, forget rank, go with unsaturated pools that are producing blocks for best ROI. Goku Saber says, what do you think about Chico Crypto's new FUD video? Yeah, I mean, I watched, I'm not going to lie to you that I did watch the videos. I was sent the videos. I've watched, I don't know, he's done a couple now on Cardano. And yeah, I mean, he has a wide audience and he says what he says. Yeah, I don't know what to say about that, things are not always as they appear. There's the truth lies somewhere in the middle. I'm not really sure what the goal of the video is. I don't know if it's to defame IOHK. I don't know if it's a personal beef with Charles. Whatever that case is, I mean, it sounds like something that needs to be settled between Charles and Chico, or those are the two people that have problems with each other. Joey says, I look at this like an adventurous experiment. The testnet is a time and place to learn. Mistakes will be made, frustrations, cheating, and all of that. It helps us learn how to operate in the mainnet. Very well said, Joey. Very well said. XRP Superman Punch says, a lot of people in the space are calling for 2020 the year of crypto. I agree with the mass adoption. What's your take? I don't think that 2020 is the year of mass adoption. Maybe it might be a bull year for crypto, but I don't think we're at mass adoption level yet. The protocols are still not where they're supposed to be. At the end of the day, no one cares about ADA or Bitcoin or Ethereum. I'm talking about people living in the everyday world. They just want to be able to spend their currency, not understand how it works, but make sure that when they check out or they're doing this or they're doing that, it works seamlessly and without as much with little friction as possible. And you have to provide incentives for the person to actually use your asset, whether that be used as an investment platform or just a place to store wealth. Mr. Mont says, I think his FUD video just brings attention to ADA. Any publicity is good publicity. Who knows? Who knows? Mark says, we're all at a big learning curve here, correct? RB Evans says, I believe that once the bugs are worked out, adoption will follow from emerging markets. Third world countries looking for decentralized currency systems. I imagine overseas online sales will escalate. Perhaps. I mean, third world countries, it's difficult. It's difficult to understand exactly what's needed to sustain economies for third world countries. This is not something that you can just pass on easily to people that have never had anything in their life or just live on absolute poverty. I mean, I can give you a prime example. My family is of Haitian descent. Haiti, for all those people that don't know, is a little island in the Caribbean. It's a third world country. It's very impoverished. I believe the middle class salary. So for middle class people in Haiti, this is middle class. So I don't know what middle class for you and your country is, but we have a middle class line in the United States. But the middle class line in Haiti makes $5 a day. $5 a day. That's $5 a day. So that's very low. That's very low. I mean, you would consider that abject poverty, but that's what middle class is. So when you tell me that it's going to revolutionize third world country economics or allow people in third world countries to exist within a new currency system, people that are making $5 a day aren't going to have that expendable income to invest or put into any speculative assets. So if you're going to get people in third world countries to be part of a system, first of all, it's going to have to come from top level down. And also you're going to have to provide a level of security for that person. You can invest in crypto and it can go up 30% in one day, 50% down in another day. But if you're living below the poverty line, or if you're living for the absolute minimum, that's not a risk you're going to take. That's not a risk you're going to take. You might as well stick with your local currency. And there has to be enough venues that are accepting that currency in order for it to even mean anything. Crypto investor says you are still uncorrupt. Keep it that way. You are doing great. Just be honest. Let me know when I get corrupt. No, thank you. I appreciate that comment. XRP Superman Punch. You should see the video of the lifeboats with Sam I Am demolishes Chico fudding XRP. Okay. Yeah, Chico's a common theme here right now. So, once again, I kind of stay in my own lane. I don't appreciate when Chico used my video. But hey, I don't really want to. I just continue doing what I'm doing. Owen Prescott says 2020 is baby steps forward. Smart contracts, for example, have zero adoption. Correct. Ryzian says, thanks for doing these updates. Important for everyone to hear what stake pool operators think. Appreciate that. Bruce City 44, Haiti is extremely poor and corrupt. It's correct. I mean, that's not false. Mark says, for now, I'm in the Netherlands, so it's time to go to sleep. Well, have a great night, Mark. Thanks for tuning in, and I appreciate you. Magu says, hey, Phil, what's your take on the MOUs with certain countries? Will they eventuate and affect the token highly? I don't think so. Not at the moment. I think that most of the solutions that are done for, let's say, Africa or like Ethiopia, for example, I think that they're a Tala-based solution. So I think that they can generate revenue for IOHK. I don't think necessarily that they're going to bridge ADA into the local economy anytime soon. I think that things have to be fixed and corrected here first, like staking, smart contracts, governance has to be already in place. So we have a fully functional product that people can explore in various different countries. XRP Superman Punch says, thank you for being polite and well-balanced answers. You're very objective, quite rare in crypto space. I appreciate your work. Thank you. I appreciate you. Owen Prescott says, Africa is relatively developed in places, to be fair. It's not as underdeveloped as people might think. Yes, that's a fair statement to say, but one of the tenets for IOHK was to bank the unbanked, and when we're talking about coffee plantations and places that are producing raw materials, in traditional sense, these people are not, they may be like middle class for their countries, but they're still considered poor. I think that these are the people that we're going after. I think these are the people we're trying to onboard into the system. It's the masses. The 1 billion unbanked, or the couple billion that are unbanked, they're living beneath the poverty lines. So, but it's true. That's true. I've been to a couple of countries in Africa. I've been to South Africa. I've been to Namibia. I've been to Lesotho. I went a while ago. And there are places in South Africa that are developed and there are places that are not developed. And then Namibia is more rural, and you have people that have been traditionally there for long periods of time and they're living off the land. And this is what I thought that the vision for Cardano was, to bank these unbanked people, the one living in the rural locations that may not have access to that traditional infrastructure that people may have in certain cities, like maybe, I don't know, Johannesburg or Cape Town, South Africa. Caribbean Crypto says Trinidad and Tobago is over corrupt. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know much about Trinidad. RB Evans says, does Haiti use the US dollar? If not, the Haitian currency stable? My point was that governments like Venezuela or Zimbabwe that has an unsustainable currency. So Haiti is a cash economy. So they'll use the US dollar. People will love the US dollar. They'll accept the US dollar because it's more stable than the actual Haitian goud. The goud used to be like 40 to 1. And now it's like 80, 85 to 1. I heard that it jumped maybe over to 100, 120 to 1. I'm not sure what it is right now. It fluctuates consistently. But if you have, let me see what it is. Yeah, it's 98 to 1 right now. So if you have the US dollar, you have purchasing power in Haiti. But yeah, it's a terrible situation because the money has just completely devalued. I mean, think about, I mean, when I was a kid, it was probably 25, 30 to 1. And then now you have it 100 to 1, but the people's salaries haven't increased. So it's like people have just gotten considerably poorer. So the currency is a mess. Win scar number one. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Scar two pool numbers. Scar number 2 is coming soon, so we're getting that ready. Big Papa Pump says, sticking with Scar, I've been in crypto since 2014, and trust is an issue with me. You have generally helped me. You have helped me greatly, and you earn my trust. I thank you, Big Papa Pump. I appreciate that. Bruce City 44 says Botswana, South Africa, and Rwanda really developing in both culture, infrastructure, law, and economics. I'm really impressed with the direction of Rwanda. Yeah, that's wonderful. Yeah, I didn't mean to overgeneralize Africa and say that every single place is poor. Obviously, that's not true. K9 top teams had win scar moonshot number 1 slot. I don't know. We have to fix this twin leader problem first, and then we can get on a level playing field with everyone, and then we can start figuring out what the competition is like. Until then, we're never going to end because we're not doing twin slot leaders ourselves. Until then, we will never be number 1 until that problem gets fixed. We're never going to be number 1 because it's just impossible. Magu says, ADAs are getting used in Korea right now for coffee. Do you think it might take over all of the world for microtransactions? Probably not. Probably not. I think it's a slow process, and I think that there are many different currencies for people to choose to microtransact. So it's going to be a competition, and it's going to ultimately end up, what can my currency do for me? If it's like, I don't know if you're familiar with those like keep the change programs that you have a credit card and it like kind of rounds up to the next dollar and puts it in the savings account and then matches it up to 50, 75%. If we had some sort of program like that where you have your ADA debit card or ADA credit card and you're spending your rewards, and those rewards ultimately it gets rounded up to the nearest ADA or the nearest Lovelace or this or that and gets refed back into a pool to compound interest while you're traveling or something like that, to offer you the benefits of growing your bag while you are traveling or while you are doing this. Then we can make a competitive offer to every individual person who is just using their points or their cash. Because personally, why would I use my ADA? Why would I use my ADA if it's going to appreciate if I can use my card and get 5% cash back on my gasoline or 3% back at the restaurants or something like that? Mr. Plummer says, hey, Obama Jr., love the videos. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Mr. Plummer. I appreciate that. Bruce City 44 says, I guess voodoo works if you want zombies, but does not work if you want a strong currency. Bruce City 44, your comments are highly entertaining. K9 top team says, where did you come up with the name Scar? From Lion King. We didn't use Lion King as a reference, but after, of course, it's Scar from the Lion King, but State Cardano. So statecardano.io, SCAR. So, but we're known as Scar from Lion King now. So, and I think we're doing Scardano. So Scardano is going to be something that we go after in the future. You know, my team and I, we've been talking about releasing merch. It's been a little bit difficult to find correct communication, and we honestly don't feel like we should release merch when our pool is not up to par or up to the level that we need to be up to. But the reason why I was thinking about releasing some merch is more so as a promotional tool, because I was sitting the other day. I have a custom Bitcoin tie. I have a custom Bitcoin scarf. You know, I don't even know I have the scarf, but it's a Bitcoin scarf I have, and it looks fresh, you know, and people look at it and they just want to learn more. You know, if we had some visuals, maybe some Scar visuals or some Cardano visuals, or something that just really encapsulated what Cardano was, not just a simple Cardano with the traditional logo, but something more aesthetically pleasing, then you can really get the conversation going. Especially what happens in the next bull run, guys and girls. What happens if the price appreciates greatly? And what if you decide to take profits? What if you're in a completely different financial class and you live your lifestyle a little bit more extravagantly than you previously lived your lifestyle? Maybe you drove this car today and you drive another car tomorrow. Or maybe you lived in this house today and you live in another house tomorrow. You know, people are going to ask questions, family, friends, people are going to notice you. And what's more of a promotional tool to show people exactly what the future of money or what the future of the financial ecosystem is than wearing high quality merchandise that, you know, maybe refers them to a website or refers them to this or refers them to that. So, you know, that's long-term thing, but I think it would be something cool for the community. Cardano MMA says, is the Haskell testnet starting as just the self node like the Rust side? We may have a long time to wait till mainnet. So I'm not 100% sure how they're going to migrate to the Haskell side of the testnet. So I think that they just may go straight to Haskell when it hits mainnet. And, you know, they're just using the Rust right now. So I'm not sure what the transition will be like. I don't know if that means another snapshot and then it reverts or goes to another side, or is it slightly merging into the Haskell? I'm not 100% sure. We're going to have to wait and see. GJDWY7 says, how come SCAR is charging 6% versus 1% for CPT1? You know, I said this before. SCAR is charging 6% because that's the service that we feel like we provide to you. You know, while we're not the cheapest, while we're not minting all the blocks right now, we're not taking advantage of that twin leader status or anything like that. We want to provide a service for you long term. It has to be just like you're looking for the best economical situation for you. The pool has to be economically viable for us. You know, people say that, you know, why are you charging so high? Is 6% really that high? In the grand scheme of things, is 6% really that high? We have a team of 4 people, like 4 people. I could have ran this by myself. I could have done this, that, this. We have a team of 4 people because I wanted professionals working on this. And you want to tell you about the returns. Like, first of all, we're having a trouble even finding the wallet for the rewards for what we're supposed to get for our pool. We still haven't figured that out. We've opened up a GitHub commit. We don't understand where the rewards are. So we may be doing this and the rewards are just, I don't know, somewhere in space. So we have a bare metal server that we're working with, that we use. We have operating costs. We want to run it like a business long term, you know, and people are sitting here thinking that, you know, we're getting rich as stake pool operators. There may be some pools that are really killing it. You know, they may have doing triple leader status or something like that. But personally, for me, this is not something that's like life changing by any means. To tell you the truth, the way our pool has been performing, it's probably would have been more lucrative for me just to not run a pool and just stake to one of these twin leader pools that are promising or are receiving really high returns in given epochs. But it is what it is. We're going to continue running. We're going to continue pushing it. So if you feel like you want the 1% pool, if you feel like you want a 2% pool, if you feel like you want a 0% pool, all you have to do is go delegate to that pool. I won't be mad. Do what's best for you. RB Evans says, so if they turn their Haitian currency into ADA, it will serve to stabilize the currency through a decentralized currency. Once merchants adopt ADA, it may even increase the value of the buying power. Perhaps, but what if ADA dramatically decreases in price? Like, what if Haiti took that solution when it was $1.18, and now it's 3 cents? I mean, that would have been atrocious. And 3 cents could go down to 1 cent. You have to make sure that there's some kind of stability. And it's not like, if there's no, if a country's poorest people come into a cryptocurrency just to get dumped on by the richest whales or the people that are maybe nouveau rich within this ecosystem, what's the use? You're banking someone that probably was already banked, but you're making the lives of people that were unbanked even more difficult. So I think that it's a little bit of a slippery slope to think that people that or think that the poorest of the poor should be involved in a volatile cryptocurrency. XRP Superman Punch says Ethereum is moving to a proof of stake as well. That sounds like a huge work and effort. Can it reach the technology of Cardano? Who knows? I believe that Ethereum is working hard. I know that they're learning from what Cardano is doing, and I know they're sitting on the sidelines, probably adjusting their protocol to make sure it's as clean and smooth as possible. K9 top teams, Scarface Dano, you need people like me. Yeah. WC is 6% is totally fair. Don't worry. RB Evans says 1% CPT1 may go out of business at that rate. There's always a cost of business. Yes. And when the costs are too low, people are not incentivized to think about it. If my pool goes down, trust me, I'm talking to Vaclav Marcus in Germany. We are constantly on phone alert. We're constantly communicating with each other. When you're making so little money with the pool or just doing it just to do it, there's really no incentive to fix or do anything with your pool long term. And is that what we're encouraging within the Cardano ecosystem? Is it just a complete race to the bottom? Like, it's, if there's no business incentive for people to run businesses within Cardano will fail. Just letting you know that. So Magu says exactly 6% is fair. You guys do the work, making sure things are stable. You make the effort and put in the hours. You're a responsible person in doing this. I appreciate it. Thanks, man. Appreciate you tuning in. I appreciate that comment. RB Evans says stability of ADA is going to be a requirement for adoption to take place. That is a given. Correct. I agree. GJDWY7, how much ADA are you personally staking? Earth? I'm staking ADA. I don't want to give away my wallet holdings or anything, but I always see there's always going to be people with more ADA than you, and there's going to be people with less ADA than you. And over the past couple of years of investing, I started investing, I don't know, maybe probably beginning of quarter two of 2017. I can now say in quarter one of 2020, I probably reached this point 6 months ago that I'm satisfied with all my crypto holdings. I did the best I could. Now I just sit and wait. There's a lot of FOMO in crypto. You always look at someone with the bigger bags. Am I going to be missing out? I'm satisfied. I reached that point of satisfaction. I let it go, kind of written it off in my line as a loss, and I'll just see what happens over the next years. I've picked my projects. I've done my research. I've done my due diligence. I am happy with my choices. So if things fail, I'm not going to blame myself. I'm just going to understand that I put my best foot forward, my best investing foot forward, and I'm happy with the outcome. So Magu says, with Ethereum, you have 32 Ethereum to stake. I don't have that. Yeah, 32 Ethereum is a lot. At the current price, what is it? $160 or $150. So what is that? Let me do a quick calculation with my calculator. Yeah, $1,600. That's more doable now. But there was a point where 32 Ethereum was probably $32,000, which is a lot. And chances are when Ethereum starts staking, the price of Ethereum will probably increase dramatically. GJDWY7 says Scar kicks ass. Oh, appreciate that. RB Evans says you get what you pay for. Good rule to follow. That is correct. That is correct. That is correct. Yeah, cheap is not always better. That's one. Life teaches you that cheap is not always better. There's differences, and people that tell you that cheaper is better. Uh, you know, Walmart is great to get certain items, but Walmart is also terrible to get certain items. You can't sit there and tell me that the food at Walmart is as fresh as the food from Whole Foods, and they're still selling the same thing, but the services that they're providing you and stuff like that. But Walmart is also a great place to get things that you may only use a couple of times, but it might not be the best place to get a 4K TV, a Walmart brand 4K TV. Maybe you may need to go to another store. Maybe you may need to go to Best Buy or use Amazon or use another online site. It's up to you. Hits and DC says, I'm kind of disappointed about talks of it being another snapshot. It lets me know that Shelly may come out quarter 4. It's a possibility. Anything is possible. I don't think there should, to tell you the truth, I think that there should be the protocol needs to be just altered in the sense that twin leaders need to be removed, or that needs to be written against the protocol. But that would require maybe a rollback of some sort. But another snapshot, I don't know. I don't know about that. I think that there are enough issues right now. So having more people come on is just going to just exacerbate the problem. Unless the problems are fixed by the time the next snapshot comes, then that's a whole nother story. Bruce City says, I think that Haiti needs IOHK to set up a blockchain for immutable property rights record keeping. Haiti has terrible records keeping and respecting for property rights. That is correct. On my mom's side of my family, my grandma, I believe, there's land that's passed on. It's not a significant piece of forces. It's not a significant. They're not significant pieces of land, but it's a few parcels of land. I don't know. I have the deeds somewhere. Okay, and but they don't mean anything because, first of all, there's another corrupt family member who basically is a strong arm. So, I've heard stories from people in my family that, they may or may not take your life if you try to take their land. And, these are people that are related or have some sort of family relation to that side of the family that I'm on. So that land is lost forever within another faction of people. And there's nothing you can do about it. But that's what happens when you live in certain areas. That's what happens when, the system is not in place to say that this parcel of land belongs to these people. It's on an immutable blockchain or something, this and that, if that makes any sense. GJDWY7 says, Charles says he's only in on BTC and ADA. Is that you too? No. I'm in more coins than just, I'm not really in BTC. I probably have $100 worth of BTC, but that's about it. Nothing substantial. XRP says, Superman Punch says, can you share what other crypto you hold? If you can, it's cool. I understand. Yeah, maybe another video, maybe another time. I've got to warm up to that because crypto space is brutal, and I'm not really trying to make enemies with anyone, and people look at you differently based on what cryptos you hold and this and that. Not really too, I don't really want to open up that Pandora's box, but maybe something in the future. I really want to try to expand this channel and maybe cover certain things that I like about other crypto projects or other crypto holdings that I had, but I just haven't found the way to do it yet. There's still certain things that I want to accomplish within Cardano. But I do find other projects interesting. I'm not going to lie to you. So it is what it is. RB Evans says, if another snapshot is required, it tells me that Cardano is taking their time and making the right moves. This has to work when it goes live, period. It's like a rocket launch. No room for errors. Very well said. Very well said. Trade Feed says 32 Ethereum is 4K. Okay. Yeah. So I may have done my calculation wrong. Sorry about that. Okay. I don't know where I got 1600. Oh, maybe I missed a zero, or I don't know what I did. What math did I do? Sorry. That's bad. That's bad on my part. So 32 Ethereum is 4K. I apologize for that. WC says CH is not keen on another snapshot. Understand. Um, Boat Cleaner says XRP then. I'm not sure what you're referring to. GJDWY7. ADA community is way more tight than the Ethereum community. Vitalik doesn't give a 1 AMA. Yeah, perhaps, but it's everyone has their different styles. Some people do the AMAs, some people don't. Charles is a very unique individual. He has a lot of knowledge to spread, and it's very different. It's very different, and I think Cardano supporters should definitely appreciate all of the transparency that he provides through his AMAs. The way he's able to get in front of the camera and just answer questions on the fly just goes to show that he really is invested in the project and really has some sort of vision for Cardano. Brian says, did I miss something? Who said there's going to be another snapshot coming? Why would there be? It already happened. There are rumors. Charles may have alluded to another snapshot happening, but it hasn't been confirmed. GJDWY7 is Ethereum blockchain Charles's testnet for Cardano. I don't know. Sandeep says, my Daedalus testnet wallet is not able to connect to network. I'm sorry, you're going to have to open up a support ticket. I cannot log into my Daedalus either, so I haven't been able to do that. Hutan says, why do they want to do another snapshot? They should just release the mainnet. Trust me, you don't want mainnet being released now. Trust me. The delegators, the guys and girls who have had an easy time delegating, kudos to you. But stake pool operators, we've been feeling the heat. It's you don't want the mainnet to be released right now. Still some issues that need to be fixed. Magu says, if we have ADA and Byron, we are still able to transfer them to Shelly when it goes to mainnet. Yeah, so if you have ADA in your Daedalus wallet, you're gonna get that ADA. You're gonna be able to stake that ADA when we hit mainnet. Sandeep says Scar is saturated. Then yes, we're opening up a second pool. That's we're going to submit it we're going to submit the merge request to IOHK and just waiting for them. XRP Superman Punch says, which one is the best wallet to store ADA? I personally store ADA in Daedalus, but a lot of people use hardware wallets. So there's Trezor support and Ledger support in Yoroi, which is the web client. So if you store your ADA in a web wallet and you are cognizant of your balance, or you really want to protect your assets, maybe invest in a hardware wallet, get it on a Ledger or get it on a Trezor. I don't have it on a Ledger or Trezor only because I've been storing it in a Daedalus for the longest period of time. JGDWY7 says, you guys show as you go. Vitalik keeps everyone in the dark. They have a lot of things that they're working on. RB Evans says, for me, Ripple and IOHK are the two most transparent crypto projects out there. It's good to hear. Good to hear. When you run your cryptocurrency or when you run your project like a business, I think it has a good chance of success. Cardano MMA says, Charles gives hints on occasion, and I'm willing to bet that a major app is being developed currently to bring online poker back to the forefront. Perhaps. Ryzen says, do you personally mine any coins? No, not at the moment. Besides considering, proof of stake mining with the Cardano testnet, but no, I do not mine any coins at the moment. But I will be soon, because a couple of my projects or one of my projects. Or maybe I'm staking on one other coin. I am staking on one other coin. I'm not mining though. I don't do any proof of work mining. GJDWY7. I really must make my own pool. Can someone help? Check the Cardano stake pool best practices group. Sandeep says, you will shut down Scar and open new pool. No, we're opening up a second pool. So it'll be Scar number 2. Yes, I'm not shutting down anything. And remember that the companies that are telling you, or the staking pools that are telling you that they're going to change their operating fees over time, every time you change your operating fee, you lose all your delegates within that pool. So if somehow I wanted to go from 6% to 100% in one day, I lose all the delegates, or 6% to 7%, or 6% to 4%, you lose all the delegates. We're pretty much firm on the 6%. If we lose ADA to other more competitive pools, so be it. We're going to continue pushing forward. We are not offering the cheapest product. We're not offering the most expensive product, but hopefully we can augment our product with services and what I can provide to the community in the future. So, I plan to take this, we're just talking about putting out a merch store and doing this and doing that, so there are a lot of things that I would like to do, more features need to be released. Cardano MMA, it's okay that you hold some Tezos. No, actually, tell you the truth, I'll tell you that for certain. I do not hold any Tezos. Well, besides the Tezos that I just earned doing the Coinbase, go to coinbase.com/earn and do those Tezos quizzes. Every now and then I go on that site and I take the quizzes for the new coins. I think I did, what was it? OXT. And then Tezos. I did those 2 coins the other day, just because I find those things interesting. So if that's considered me holding Tezos, what is that, like $6-7 of Tezos? So nothing consequential, XRP Superman Punch says, is Daedalus a hot wallet? Can I download it from somewhere? Yes, you're gonna have to go to daedaluswallet.io and download that wallet from there. It is not first of all, like when you say hot wallet, I mean, it's not. It's not like it's not a light client like Yoroi. So I think that it's a little bit more secure when it comes to you having it downloaded as an application on your computer, especially if your computer is not compromised. So I think that Daedalus is a great option if your computer is not compromised. Bobzilla says, correction, 32 Ethereum is 122,500 ADA. That is significant. Nathan says, when Lambo? Oh, I don't know. JGDWY7 says, could Ethereum being first to market just copy ADA, just as Charles said, and ADA gets screwed? I don't know. If Cardano does not put out what they're supposed to put out, Ethereum could catch up. Ethereum could surpass, what Cardano planned to do in the future. I don't think Cardano has surpassed Ethereum at this point at all. Ethereum has smart contracts. Ethereum is doing a lot. So we're trying to catch up to Ethereum. But if we do not release, that gap is just going to get further and further and further. If that makes any sense. WC says algo. No, I don't hold any Algorand. Magu says, but when you start another pool, can you then have a different percentage? Only asking. That's correct. Yes, we can have a different percentage, but we'll keep SCAR2 at 6%. JGDWY7 says he holds 0.0467 Tezos. Probably. XRP Superman Punch says, I did earn 2. Join the club. That's awesome. I'm waiting for the day that Cardano gets added to the Earn program. It will happen if they get added to Coinbase, in my opinion. All the projects seem to be getting funneled to the Coinbase Earn program. Sandeep says, if one pool is saturated, then operators shut down this and then open new pool, then how is Cardano will become more decentralized? It's a logical problem. Well, no one says that shutting down the pool. The same operators are just opening up multiple pools. So no one's shutting down any pools. Not that I know of. There may be some people that may shut down a pool, but I don't think that makes much sense to shut down the pool. Hutan says, why some epochs don't change? Something's wrong with the pool that needs to be fixed. What do you mean by some epochs don't change? Like the percentages within the epoch? Nathan says, hey, bro, just wanted to thank you. I definitely would have given up on ADA without all your hard work. Good work. Oh, I appreciate that, Nathan. I appreciate that. Adonis says, hey, greetings from Honduras. Always following you. I appreciate that. Oh, thank you for greetings. Honduras. I want to go to Honduras. I've been to a couple places in Central America. went to Mexico over the holiday break. And when I was younger, I went to Costa Rica. I loved it. I've got to make my way to Honduras. In your last pool video, Cardano effect, you guys said type in another window for security. Can you explain? Sorry, guys and girls. I'm sorry if it looks like I can't. The text is just very small. I'm on this monitor is gigantic. It's really, really big, and it's just in a small chat here. So let me pop out this chat and see if it's a little bit easier to see, because I'm really straining my eyes. About 1 second. So in the last video, in the Cardano effect, you guys said type in another window for security. Can you explain? Hackers can copy keyboard strokes. Yes. So, if you have a keylogger that's monitoring your words or something like that, they were saying like have a tab open where you're just typing random words while you're tapping your seed phrase in. So if someone is really monitoring your words, they're getting a whole bunch of words at the same time, or they may not be able to distinguish between what you're typing within the dataless wallet versus what you're typing on the internet. So that's the thing. Like when I go to, I don't know if you've seen those card skimmers at banks, at ATM banks and gas stations and whatnot. And basically it's a little plastic device that the scammers, they put on device terminals. So when you put in your credit card, there's a magnetic strip that reads all your numbers, and then your data either gets sold on the dark web or someone clones your card, and then all of a sudden you have a fraudulent transaction within your credit card. So using that logic, when I go to banks or when I go to ATMs, after I put in my PIN, if I'm using my debit card, I make sure that I hit other buttons as well after I leave, because people behind you, they can use those infrared heat cameras to see where your fingerprints were. So if you have a 4-digit PIN, they can see the residue from the heat signatures from your fingertips on the numbers. So if it's like a 0996, they may not know the correct combination, but they can see that it's those 4, and then they can narrow it down to what your actual PIN is. So using that logic, that's like the same logic of typing another word into a computer while you're doing that. Hutan says there are some that are 25. Okay, I'm not 100% sure. Bobzilla says, I was holding 32 Ethereum and sold it all for ADA yesterday. Ethereum has been a long road to go down, while Cardano will have the same time to grow. One is contracting and the other one is growing. Okay. I don't hold any Ethereum, but I do hold some ERC20 tokens. So I'm not familiar with the progress that Ethereum is making, but I am familiar with ERC20 tokens, and I do follow a couple of them. Lanzante says, I just synced my testnet rewards wallet. Thanks for your work, and good night. Good night. Awesome. Glad to hear that. Have a wonderful night. Cardano MMA, when is the last time you've gotten Daedalus to connect? 2019. Sandeep says, input power is same, then shut down saturated pool for more profitability. Well, I mean, if you shut down the pool, you're going to stop earning rewards. So I'm not 100% sure. Hutan says some epochs are 25, 26, and 27. Yeah, each epoch that completes the next epoch. So it would be 25, 26, 27, and 28, 29. If that's, I'm not sure if I'm understanding your question correctly. Ryzian says, do you think Craig Wright is Satoshi? No. Nick says, how are you, Nick? RB Evans says, Cardano MMA today, I don't have a problem with Daedalus. Now the testnet Daedalus, I do have an issue with. Yes. Yeah, I've been able to get into Daedalus. I have not been able to get into the incentivized testnet. So Cardano MMA, I've been able to get into the mainnet Daedalus probably yesterday or something like that. Sorry if I wasn't answering your question. Bruce City 44 says, better question is, will he ever turn in those Bitcoins ordered by court? I think you're talking about Craig Wright. Cardano MMA says, referring to the ITN Daedalus, 6% Big Papa Pump says 6% not high considering banks leverage my cash 200 to 1 and always win and then give me back 1%. Are you guys and girls familiar with bank sweeps for extremely wealthy bank customers? So you can go up to your bank. I'm not sure if it works for every single local bank, but maybe the major banks. And basically at night, after the bank closes, they sweep all the accounts within any local branch and then they invest it in foreign markets. So markets that are open, halfway across the world where it's daytime. And then by the time it's morning again, all that money is back in the bank account plus some interest. So they're gaining money at night when you sleep. And there's a risk that it takes. But if you're like a very wealthy customer, you can go and ask about bank sweeps and basically take that risk for them. So basically, you're investing your money every night at a certain bank. I've heard of an individual that's doing this, and it's an interesting philosophy. But banks are constantly profiting, and as they should, they're holding your money. I mean, they should profit to some degree, but sometimes the fees get a little bit extra. They're a little bit extra. Bank of America. I recently opened up. Like if you open up an account, a business account, like you have to hold a certain amount of money in the account. You have to hold like $3,000 in the account in order for them not to charge you monthly fees for keeping the account open. You have to make sure that you're following things. So I don't like to leave money on the table, especially when it comes to fees. I don't like to get charged fees for anything because it just dwindles your money. So you have to make sure that you're following all the rules and making sure that you have the correct amount so you're not overcharged or undercharged or whatever like that. RB Evans says, my testnet datalist, once I get the mainnet wallet and leave it up, it starts syncing blocks downwards. I have to shut it off, restart a few times till it syncs correctly. Why does it run like that? So it's stalled. So you're probably connecting to a faulty node, a fork, or anything like that. So you're connecting to a node that is not on the correct chain. And it's not necessarily that it's going backwards. It's just that the main chain is getting further and further away from you. So the percentage away from that main chain decreases over time. So if you were 25% away from the top, then all of a sudden 2 hours later, you're 15% away from the top. So, you're 15%. So you're like 85% away from the max value, if that makes sense. GJDWY7 says Hoskinson said ADA is ahead of Ethereum. I'm not sure in what respects, not in smart contracts for sure, not. X-Wing, maybe towards the staking battle, probably. I would go for that. X-Wing says the World Bank has warned of the risk of a fresh global debt crisis, urging governments and central banks to recognize. Possibly. Hutan says, they have different epoch numbers. So if you look at ADA pools, they are not on the same epoch. Oh, I'm not sure. I have to check that out. Bruce City 44 sweeps has never heard of bank sweeps. Yeah, you taught me something new. Yeah, check it out. You can look up bank sweeps and stuff like that. It's really an interesting thing. I didn't know they were so aggressive with their investing strategies, especially when banks close. Cardano MMA says, what happened to Barry? Well, I just was hanging out with Barry. Probably I hung out with him right before the Christmas holiday. So like 3-4 weeks ago, I spoke with him last week. He's supposed to be coming out with some more videos soon. So he's just been busy with the military, and he's just been doing his thing. But last time I checked, he's still invested, and he's just maybe taking more of a passive role. But I think he's going to be making more videos soon. Craig says, so I have a Yoroi wallet, and when I tried to go on the testnet to stake it, told me to update my wallet. Does this sound legit? Yeah, it depends what version you're on. I think the testnet version wallet is 2.0.1. So if you're on 2.0.0, you're going to have to change it. GJDWY7 says, will Charles D. ADA ambassador you for having the nerve to own ERC20 tokens? Well, I don't think Charles is part of the ambassador program, or head of the ambassador program. Do the nerve of owning the ERC20 tokens. I don't know. I mean, there are some good projects out there. This is exactly why it's hard to share your portfolio, because they go on different tangents, and they look at you differently because of that. At the end of the day, I have to ask you a question. What's Cardano tokens can I invest in at the moment? I've been involved with crypto since Q2 of 2017. So, once there are some Cardano tokens out there, I can go and see and what's going on. But right now, there's nothing to choose from. RB Evans, appreciate you coming on. Great questions. Thank you so much. You have a wonderful evening. See you later. GJDWY7 says, how is Grandpa James Earl Jones? I don't know who that is. Maybe I do, and I'm just not thinking of him at this particular moment. Sandeep says, is parallel work going on smart contracts? How much work is completed? I've heard that parallel work is, they're working on smart contracts in parallel. So I think that should be fine. Hutan says, this is the year for ADA. They either make it or break it. Yeah, agreed. X-Wing XRP5 says PoonDX, and that is that VeChain. Great long-term use case building up. Okay. I'm not involved with any of those projects, but I don't know too much about those projects. So am I caught up with chat? I'll go with a few more minutes. If anyone has some pressing questions, I think the questions are dying down. I appreciate everyone's time here. So just to wrap everything up, SCAR2 will be released soon. We are waiting for the merge from IOHK. The pool has been funded. We are not running any twin leader statuses whatsoever. So that solution still needs to be fixed in Jormungandr. We're going to continue doing things the way that IOHK, the rules that they set. We're not going to break any of the rules that they set. GJDWY7 says, Darth Vader voice Star Wars. You look like you're related. Okay. Nick, happy to have you back. Oh, appreciate you. Magu, you are just too good, Phil. Thank you. I appreciate that. That's really nice of you to say. Sandeep says, Shelly, before Bitcoin halving. When is Bitcoin halving? It's sometime in the summer, right? Let me see. Bitcoin. June 9, 2020. When is that? It's like 6 months from now, 5-6 months. Hopefully hit mainnet before then. Don't watch the latest Rambo movie. It's a little crazy. Is there a latest Rambo movie? I mean, I watched the old Rambo movie. Is there a new modern Rambo movie? When pool avatars? I don't know. That would be nice. That's not nice. Pool avatars, pool merch. June. XRP Superman Punch. Good night. Pleasure interacting with you. Okay. XRP, X-Wing XRP5 and Daniel J. I don't know when the pool avatars or logos are going. But yeah, I think people are dropping off. JGWY7 says, after this Moons, are you approachable for a thank you? Is it a thank you and a handshake? Of course. Of course. Yeah, we got to do, there's supposed to be a big party plan if this moons, according to, I run a Telegram group called the Cardano Effect. If people want to join, it used to be called Cardano is Coming. I rebranded it to the Cardano Effect, but we talked about our moon party. So yeah, it's going down. If things go up, it's going down. Old Pa Singh says, just wanted to let you know that. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. That's really nice of you to say. I appreciate that. Thank you. Adonis says, "How can I join the Telegram group?" Just go on Telegram, type in the Cardano effect, and that should be the Telegram handle. You can reach me on Telegram at PhilPA, PHILPA6, the number 6. Okay, I think everyone is signing off right now. So, guys, girls, thank you for joining, and until the next time, I'll do this again. And yeah, yeah. So keep keep on keeping on, and things are looking there. A lot of improvements need to be made, but just keep on trying, keep on opening up the support tickets, and we'll get through this. And Scar 2 is opening up soon, so I'll let everyone know when Scar 2 gets open. So I appreciate you guys and girls, and have a great evening. Enjoy the rest of your week, and yeah, all right, bye everyone.